From betrayal to glory, Daniel Harper's overthrow and empire-building journey. 15 years ago, Harper Solutions, a small IT consulting firm, was on the brink of bankruptcy. Founded by my father, Robert Harper, the company used to be the pride of the family, but his lack of entrepreneurial skills caused things to fall apart. Although he excelled in technology, bad financial decisions and the loss of key customers brought the company to the brink. In 2010, when I, Daniel Harper, had just graduated from business school, Harper Solutions was only 3 months away from bankruptcy. Meanwhile, my brother, Ethan Harper, 30, is more popular at parties than meetings. His father always favored Ethan, the eldest son with charisma and eloquence, but it was his bohemian lifestyle that lost the trust of many important customers. I still remember a rainy afternoon when I walked into my father's office. He sat motionless behind his desk, staring at the financial statements. His eyes were red, his voice choked up. "It's all over, Daniel. He will lose everything he has built." Something in me seemed to break in half, but at that moment, a strong will arose. I couldn't let my father's dream disappear, even though he always saw me as an unremarkable son. As Ethan continued to spend the corporate budget on parties, I began my journey to save Harper Solutions. The 18-hour working day has become a habit. I met with each of my former clients to regain their trust, learn every detail of the contract, and review all costs. One of the most difficult decisions was to cut Ethan's huge entertainment budget, which made him laugh endlessly. "Daniel, you're just playing director," Ethan said, making a brief appearance in the office. Still, I didn't stop. With perseverance, I began to restore the company. Gradually, Harper Solutions transformed from a small IT company to a more sustainable unit. By the end of the year, the company was on the brink of bankruptcy, and I knew that this was just the beginning. But I didn't expect that this same effort would lead to a greater betrayal than I had ever imagined. After a year of non-stop work, Harper Solutions is on the brink of bankruptcy. But I, Daniel Harper, know that it's not enough to just get through the crisis. If we want the company to survive and develop for a long time, we need a comprehensive transformation. I started strategizing, not only to save the company, but also to build a solid foundation for the future. While my brother, Ethan Harper, continues to spend time at lavish parties and vacations, I focus on work. I study the market, look for opportunities to grow and expand my business. Harper Solutions no longer only provides IT consulting services. We started developing proprietary software solutions, expanding into the field of cloud services and digitizing business processes. Success doesn't come easily. I've met dozens of clients who have left us, listened to their complaints, and convinced them to come back. Some refused the first time, but I didn't give up. Each time I was rejected, I learned from my mistakes and improved my approach. Perseverance eventually paid off. Customers began to return, and Harper Solutions gradually regained its reputation. Within 5 years, the company's revenue grew tremendously, from $2 million to $10 million, then $50 million. The staff expanded from 20 people to more than 500 people. We open offices in 3 countries, becoming one of the leading companies in digital transformation in the industry. At family dinners, though, all accomplishments were overshadowed by my father's bias toward Ethan. He always praised his brother's innate leadership skills, despite the fact that he hardly participated in the company's development. "I have no objection. I don't need your recognition. What I'm interested in is the success of Harper Solutions, and I have a long-term plan to ensure that." What no one knows, including my father, is that I have been quietly accumulating shares in the company. When the company was almost bankrupt, I used all my savings and borrowed more to invest, in exchange for 40% of the shares. In addition, I began to build close relationships with key customers and employees, making myself an irreplaceable factor in the company. But everything changed the day my father announced his retirement. Everyone thinks I'm going to be the successor, after all I've done for Harper Solutions. But Ethan had other plans, and I was not prepared for the painful betrayal that would happen. After years of dedication and revival of Harper Solutions, I, Daniel Harper, believe that I am ready to take over the company. With sales surpassing the $100 million mark and a growing reputation, I thought the recognition from my father, Robert Harper, would eventually come. So when my father announced his retirement and convened a shareholder meeting to announce his successor, I came with pride and anticipation. I have prepared a thorough presentation, including the strategy for growing the company for the next 5 years. Before the meeting, I noticed Ethan Harper, my brother, sitting absent-mindedly in the front seat. His smirk made me a little confused, but I quickly brushed it off. I believe that everything is clear. I am the one who took the company out of bankruptcy and thrived. As his father stood up, he looked around the room, beginning in a calm voice. Ladies and gentlemen, today I am very proud to announce who will continue to lead Harper Solutions, who has the vision and leadership needed to take the company to the next level. I sat up straight, ready to embrace the moment I had worked for a decade to achieve. That person is my eldest son, Ethan Harper. The room was silent. I felt like someone had just punched me in the stomach. But the shock didn't stop there. He continued, "In addition, Ethan has brought to my attention a number of troubling issues in recent activity. We regret to say that some decisions were made without my approval, which affected the company's reputation." Ethan stood up, his tone pretending to be sympathetic. "Unfortunately, these decisions involve Daniel. He arbitrarily made unrealistic promises to customers, and we were forced to investigate the legality of these actions." Ethan's words were blatant distortions. Every decision I made was clearly documented and legal, but I didn't doubt it. Therefore, my final decision as CEO is to fire Daniel from Harper Solutions, effective immediately, he stated. I was escorted out of the building, my email account was disabled, my access was revoked. Ethan smiled triumphantly. "Good luck, brother," he said. "Maybe now I'll have time to live my own life." But Ethan has forgotten an important thing. Over the years, I've not only built the company, but I've also built a plan for this day. And his betrayal will only be the beginning of a subversion that he never foresees. Pushed out of Harper Solutions in humiliation, I, Daniel Harper, know that this is not the end. Although the betrayal of my brother Ethan Harper and my father's bias caused me to lose my position at the company, they underestimated what I had prepared for over the past decade. First, the decisions that Ethan slandered as illegal were carefully documented and duly approved by me. I know that when the time comes, the truth will come to light. Second, I own 40% of the company, which both Ethan and my father seem to have forgotten. And finally, I spent years building a valuable asset that Ethan couldn't touch. Foster Innovations, my secretly founded subsidiary, which holds all of Harper Solutions' intellectual property, patents, and important contracts. As I left the office that day, I sent a text message to an old friend at the Securities and Exchange Commission, accompanied by a set of documents detailing Ethan's shady dealings. Next, I sat down with my legal team and loyal staff, planning the next step. By Monday, when Ethan confidently walked into his new office with a cup of coffee in hand, he had no idea that the storm had begun. At 9:15 a.m., Harper Solutions' entire computer system, which I had built from the ground up, started working as I wanted. On a computer screen in the CEO's office, a video starts playing. Ethan, 3 years ago, is working on a deal to sell customer data to our biggest rival. Ethan panicked, trying to turn off the screen, but was unsuccessful. The video continued to play, not only in his office but on every screen in the building. Meanwhile, under the lobby, federal agents entered, carrying investigation warrants. Ethan was quickly summoned to an emergency board meeting. There, I, through the executive of Foster Innovations, revealed that all of Harper Solutions' intellectual property, patents, and major contracts had been transferred to my subsidiary. Key clients signed new contracts with me, and the majority of the staff submitted resignations to join Foster Innovations. Ethan realized that he was left with an empty cover. This perfect reversal was not only a response to his betrayal, but also a way for me to regain everything I had worked so hard to build. But I didn't stop, because there was one last problem to be solved: the Harper family. The entire Harper Solutions building was thrown into chaos when Ethan Harper's video was broadcast on every screen. The words he said to his opponent 3 years ago sounded clear. "Just transfer money to my Cayman account. I'll take care of the rest. Don't worry, my brother has done everything." Ethan panicked, trying to disconnect the system, but things were out of his control. When federal agents entered, Ethan's face turned pale. They issued warrants to investigate illegal transactions related to insider trading and the sale of customer data. Ethan tried to deny it, but the evidence was sent to the SEC over the weekend of last week. A complete set of filings prepared by me, Daniel Harper. At an emergency board meeting, things got worse for Ethan. I appeared via video call, along with my legal team, to clarify the situation. "I need to reiterate a point," I said, my voice calm. "All of Harper Solutions' intellectual property, patents, and client contracts are now owned by Foster Innovations, which I own 100%. One of the board members, his voice full of concern, asked, "What does this mean? The company's core assets no longer belong to Harper Solutions?" I smiled slightly. "Exactly. Key customers have signed new contracts with Foster Innovations, and the company's key staff have also submitted their resignations to join us. Harper Solutions now has only one name left. No assets, no customers, no team." Ethan stood there, speechless as the truth came out. The investigation from the SEC and FBI continues to expand, with a series of his illegal transactions coming to light. The board, having no other choice, voted to remove Ethan immediately. When the agents led him out of the building, his expensive suit looked devoid of authority. In the media, the headline appeared quickly: "Harper Solutions CEO arrested for fraud and insider trading." Within 24 hours, Harper Solutions shares fell by 70%, pushing the company into an unprecedented state of crisis. I sent a final email to the rest of the staff. "You have the right to choose. Stay with a company that collapsed, or join Foster Innovations, where your efforts are valued." Less than an hour later, 90% of the team chose to leave. Ethan had lost everything: his position, his reputation, and the company he once thought he controlled. But for me, this is just the next step on his journey to reclaim everything he's ever tried to take away. But there was still one final problem to face: my parents, who had been on Ethan's side. 3 days after Ethan Harper's arrest, I, Daniel Harper, sat in my office at Foster Innovations headquarters, listening to Mr. Shaw, the family's financial advisor. "Your parents are in trouble," he said. "They lost all their assets due to their investment in Harper Solutions. Your mother was worried that they would have to sell the house." I was silent. The memories of my father, Robert Harper, were always biased against Ethan and ignored my efforts. But this is not the time to nurture resentment. "Arrange a meeting," I said. "Tomorrow morning, 10 o'clock. The next morning, my parents walked into the office. My mother, Helen, looked tired, and my father was much older. They sat down, their eyes filled with remorse. "Daniel," he began, his voice trembling, "I know I was wrong. I am not fair to you. But now parents need their help. We are family." I replied in a calm but decisive voice. "Family? Do you remember what you did when you fired me and gave Ethan power?" I put a document on the table. "I will help, but with conditions. The child will buy back the parents' shares at the original price. In return, the parents sign an agreement to keep quiet about Ethan's behavior and withdraw from the business. The money will be managed by a trustee to ensure there is no more reckless investment." My mother shed tears, while my father looked at me, finally nodding. "You're right, Daniel. I'm better than I thought." When they left, I felt a sense of relief. A chapter in the past has come to an end. Now I am ready to step into the future, no longer bound by old resentments. 5 years after the collapse of Harper Solutions, Foster Innovations has become a billion-dollar company, a leader in innovative technology and ethical business practices. Under my leadership, Daniel Harper, we have not only recovered from the crisis, but also gone far beyond the limits that my family once thought could be achieved. Meanwhile, my brother, Ethan Harper, after 2 years in prison on charges of fraud and insider trading, now works as a bartender in Las Vegas. His reputation and career have completely disappeared. My parents, Robert and Helen Harper, lived quietly in a small house in Florida, receiving financial support from the money I had returned to them. The postcards they sent appeared on my desk from time to time, but I never answered. I don't resent them anymore, but I don't need their recognition anymore. I've learned that sometimes the most trustworthy people let you down the most. But those disappointments are also the motivation for me to build something bigger. Last week, I received an invitation from my old business school. The theme of the speech: the importance of ethics in family business. I accepted with a smile. After all, I have a story worth telling. When I look back, I realize that the sweetest revenge is not to destroy the enemy, but to build something so great that they have to live in regret for betting the wrong person. And if someone asks how I, who is considered a backup, can turn the tables, I simply reply, while openly boasting, the arrogant person never realizes that the eagle is always silently watching and waiting for the right moment.